Welcome to Peopletree Soundbites.
So what's the biggest challenge to doing
That's where talent analytics can help.
This is a place you can grow a career.
In this series, we talk to talent architects from around the world, collecting contemporary insights and fresh perspectives on the value of connecting who counts to what counts. Join us as we envision the future landscape of HR, where human resources turn into connected, resilient and productive people ecosystems. With Martin Sutherland, Global Director of Peopletree Group. This week, in conversation with Marsha Walusimbi. Together, they will be talking through some of the traditional challenges to growth and development that can be reimagined within a thriving people ecosystem.
Ecosystems provide a different way of looking at how to organize interactions with one another. Successful ecosystems not only survive, but thrive. Our current view of organizations is still heavily influenced by the industrial mindset of command and control. It no longer works as a reference for designing the way we should be working. This session was recorded with Marsha Walusimbi as part of a webinar arranged by the Human Resource Management Association of Uganda. I've worked with Marsha for the last 9 years, but much more closely in the last 3 after she took up her new role as Head of Talent and DE&I for Africa. I think it's her 10 years of experience as an HR manager, as well as her time in learning and development, that gives her this fantastic perspective on talent from a business and an operational point of view. And it's this insight that she uses to get buy-in to initiatives like the one we'll talk about that drive the talent and DE&I agenda in the company across the region. In this episode, we'll be talking about how she manages career growth and development and how they use people data to support the career conversation process and support their employee value proposition. So Marsha, how do you manage the development and growth of staff in your company?
This for us is a big challenge because we are a very lean organization. Therefore, what are some of the things that we need to look at to make sure that whatever solution we design, it will create the sense for the employee that it's a place within which they can grow, it's a place where their career can progress. And then we looked at what would this mean for the managers, or how do we tailor this program that it's not specifically speaking to employees only, but it creates an opportunity for the managers to see what the potential is for them with the teams that they have and how they can be able to play a part in growing the capacity of their team members, but also preparing them for future opportunities should they arise. And then from the HR perspective, it would create a good marketplace. The one thing you want to be sure of is that you have people with the right skills and competencies that when an opportunity opens up, you can quickly deploy the talent that you have on board. We then started to sit and design how do we then sell this particular message to the executive to say, this is what we need to take us to the next level as an organization.
I think this really demonstrates how essential it is to view any experience that you're trying to create within an organization from the perspective of all 4 stakeholders, so that there is a buy-in across the board before implementation. Could you tell us a little more about the data gathered through the talent print process that's enabled this experience?
One of the things that has stood out for me working with the talent print material and the information that we gather there is that there is no issue that cannot be better described through data. And therefore, designing a solution that has something tangible to it is really important, because when you have the data that shows you what the problem area is or what the issue is, and you're able to put it forward in a clear manner, what the benefit is for the different stakeholders, it's then easy to measure whether it's successful or not at the end, because you have those parameters to then go back and look at. Talent Print is our talent management system that helps us track our employees from a perspective of their own resumes. And whenever we have opportunities for growth, promotions, we tend to go into the system to say, do we have people? And if we fail to find them in the system, then we go out to the markets to say, do you possibly have people with this particular skill set that can be given an opportunity elsewhere? And that area was lacking. So from a data perspective, we were still relying on word of mouth or email. But without that data in the system, it then becomes difficult to match needs with the skills within the organization, and therefore make it believable for staff that there's an opportunity for you to grow.
So how did you begin to work with the data that you'd gathered?
One of the things that was scored low across Africa was that I do not get a career conversation or anybody to guide me about my career within the organization. And so looking at those two data sources, we thought employees feel they need to be given direction on how their careers can be developed. And then how do we help the managers see that by partnering with the employees on this conversation, they don't lose their best employee, they don't lose the people that they have, but instead they create more opportunities for them to grow and be more productive within the workspace. We then put together a career conversations coaching program. And the first slide that we put up was, where do you want to be in 2024? And the intention was to draw the employee and the manager into the conversation. Every time we talk about careers, everyone is like waiting for somebody to tell them, I want you to go into this place. But we said, it's important that you take ownership of your career, because if you don't, we may not know what it is that you need to move you to the next level. And this created a bit of debate, because it then put a lot of responsibility in owning your information in the system and saying, if you're interested in your career, start to think about it alongside us, rather than expecting us to think about it for you.
What did you expect to come out of the program?
So some of the things that we expected to come out of the program would be that employees would then know how to prepare for and initiate a career conversation with their manager. Secondly, we knew that it would help them establish their own career goals without waiting for someone to come in and help them with that. And then ensure that they're able to, one, be aware of their strengths, but also be able to articulate these strengths in a conversation with their managers, but also to be fair to themselves when they see opportunities and say, do I have the strengths that will help me succeed if I applied for that particular role? And also give them an opportunity to align their strengths with the aspirations that they have or the interests that they have for themselves for the future. And ultimately, at the end, to help them to create a plan on how they would achieve the goals that they have set out to achieve. We tried to shift the career conversation from being owned by a manager or owned by HR to being owned by the employee, thereby ensuring that continually the process happens at the speed and at the level of sustainability that we wanted to ensure this takes on.
Could you tell us a bit more about the tech that you're using to achieve this?
We have two tools, Talent Print, which is for employees who are not managing people, and then we have Talent Print Plus, which is your more senior managers and then the executive team. And within this, we told them, you need to have your own talent profile. We look at who are you, what's your name, what's the job that you're doing, what languages do you speak, what opportunities would you like to take on, what has been your career history, what qualifications do you have, what interests do you have from a career perspective. So making or creating a mini resume for you within the system. So all this information is like a database for us, making it easy for people to pull data about you at any point in time should an opportunity arise. And it's a more sustainable way of gathering information for our staff. The next stage in the process is to conduct a strengths analysis. So for us, everyone across the organization can get 360 degrees feedback from your manager, your peers, and that report is called a talent discovery report that gives you an overview of what your strengths are, what areas may be weaknesses for you or may need to be developed. And this information then enables you, equips you to have a good career conversation with your manager to then say, where are the areas that we can be able to deploy you.
And what was the result of the program?
For the first time, we've had close to 80% of managers coming in and saying, I've had a conversation with my person and I've been thinking that I need to move them in this direction, but I think that's not going to work. Can we think about new ways that we can deploy this person because they're really good at 1, 2, 3, 4. And by the end of the conversation, it's quite clear what else we can do. One, to give the employee an opportunity to do something different. And also being able to give the managers the confidence that they have talent that they can deploy in various sections within their teams, and therefore they would not be able to lose the good people that they feel they have to hold on to. You can still use that same resource, but give them an opportunity to explore other areas that can help them add value not only to the function, but also to the business as a whole.
Marsha, thanks so much for sharing that. It's so great to hear something go from concept to practice. I think it's a great example of how a people ecosystem architect can use the tech and tools we provide to shape and refine the experiences on offer to all of the different stakeholders within the organization.
Thank you for listening to Peopletree Soundbites. You can find all of Marsha's insights and more in our Peopletree Soundbite archive. For more information on people ecosystems, visit our website at peopletreegroup.com, where we have resources that you can use to evaluate the sustainability and health of your own people ecosystem. Join us each week for a new soundbite with a talent architect from around the world, offering their contemporary insight and fresh perspective on the value of connecting who counts to what counts.